What if I told you there was an object so powerful it could command the wind, understand the whispers of animals, and even rule over unseen forces? A single artifact, shrouded in mystery and legend, believed to hold secrets beyond human imagination. This is the story of King Solomon's ring, a symbol of unparalleled wisdom, divine authority, and extraordinary power. Imagine a king, not just any king, but one chosen by Allah, ruling over an empire where humans, animals, and even jinn served at his command. King Solomon, or Prophet Suleiman, as he is known in Islamic tradition, was no ordinary leader. His wisdom was unmatched, his justice unwavering, and his dominion over creation unparalleled. But what was the source of his extraordinary abilities? For centuries, scholars, mystics, and storytellers have pointed to one thing: a ring. Legends speak of a mystical ring inscribed with sacred words, a gift bestowed upon Solomon by Allah himself. With this ring, he could summon the winds, control the jinn, and understand the language of creatures great and small. But this is not just a tale of magic and power. It's a story rich with lessons, tests of humility, and divine wisdom. As we unravel the secrets of King Solomon's ring, you'll discover not only the myths and mysteries, but also the profound truths that resonate across time. What happened when Solomon lost the ring? How did he regain it? And what does this ancient story teach us about the balance between power, humility, and justice? King Solomon, known as Prophet Suleiman in Islamic tradition, is one of the most revered figures in religious history. His extraordinary wisdom, unmatched justice, and unique relationship with both the seen and unseen worlds set him apart as a leader and prophet. Across Islamic, Jewish, and Christian scriptures, Solomon is depicted as a figure of immense power and responsibility, a man who balanced worldly authority with spiritual devotion. In Islamic tradition, Solomon is described as a prophet endowed with miraculous abilities granted by Allah. The Quran highlights his exceptional qualities in multiple chapters, emphasizing his wisdom and his dominion over humans, animals, and jinn. One of the most striking examples of Solomon's abilities is his ability to communicate with creatures, as mentioned in Surah An-Naml. And gathered for Solomon were his soldiers of the jinn, and men and birds, and they were marching in rows. Until when they came upon the valley of the ants, an ant said, "O ants, enter your dwellings, that you not be crushed by Solomon and his soldiers, while they perceive not." So he smiled, amused at her speech, and said, "My lord, enable me to be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to do righteousness of which you approve, and admit me by your mercy into the ranks of your righteous servants." This passage not only reflects Solomon's extraordinary gifts, but also his humility and gratitude toward Allah. Despite his immense power, Solomon remained deeply aware of his reliance on divine mercy and guidance. In addition to his communication with animals, Solomon was granted control over the jinn, spiritual beings created from smokeless fire. The Quran recounts how these jinn worked under his command to construct monumental structures and carry out tasks that no ordinary human could achieve. In Surah Saba 34:12-13, Allah says, "And to Solomon we subjected the wind. Its morning journey was that of a month, and its afternoon journey was that of a month, and we made flow for him a spring of liquid copper. And among the jinn were those who worked for him by the permission of his Lord. And whoever deviated among them from our command, we will make him taste of the punishment of the blaze. They made for him what he willed of elevated chambers, statues, bowls like reservoirs, and stationary kettles. We said, 'Work, O family of David, in gratitude, and few of my servants are grateful.'" These verses underscore not only Solomon's unparalleled abilities, but also the conditional nature of these gifts. They were to be used in gratitude and service to Allah, not for personal gain or arrogance. In Jewish tradition, Solomon is celebrated for his wisdom and his role as the builder of the first temple in Jerusalem, often referred to as Solomon's Temple. This temple, according to biblical accounts, was constructed with the help of extraordinary resources and labor, including materials and assistance provided by neighboring kingdoms. The temple became a symbol of Solomon's devotion to God and his efforts to establish justice and order. Christian scriptures also honor Solomon, particularly for his wisdom. One of the most famous stories, shared across traditions, is the Judgment of Solomon, where he resolves a dispute between two women claiming to be the mother of the same child. His decision to propose dividing the child in two, revealing the true mother through her willingness to sacrifice her claim, remains a powerful example of his unparalleled wisdom and sense of justice. The common thread across these traditions is Solomon's deep connection to divine wisdom and justice. However, the Quran offers a unique perspective by emphasizing the source of Solomon's abilities: Allah's will. Unlike other accounts that sometimes portray Solomon's power as intrinsic, the Quran consistently attributes his gifts to Allah, highlighting his role as a servant and prophet who fulfilled his responsibilities with humility and gratitude. The story of King Solomon's ring, or the ring of Prophet Sulaiman, is one of the most captivating aspects of his legacy. It is believed that this mystical artifact was a divine gift bestowed upon Solomon by Allah, granting him unparalleled authority and abilities. The ring is said to have been inscribed with sacred words or the name of Allah, symbolizing Solomon's role as a divinely chosen ruler and prophet. This ring not only symbolized his connection to divine wisdom, but also served as a tool to fulfill his duties as a just and compassionate leader. According to Islamic tradition, Solomon's ring was endowed with powers that enabled him to command the jinn, control the winds, and understand the language of animals. This unique combination of abilities set him apart as a ruler whose dominion extended beyond the physical world. In Surah Saba 34:12-13, the Quran highlights the tasks performed by the jinn under Solomon's command. And to Solomon we subjected the wind. Its morning journey was that of a month, and its afternoon journey was that of a month. And we made flow for him a spring of liquid copper. And among the jinn were those who worked for him by the permission of his Lord. The ring's origin is closely tied to Solomon's role as a prophet and a king entrusted with extraordinary responsibilities. The ring was not a mere symbol of power, but a means to carry out his divine mission effectively. For instance, his ability to communicate with animals, as depicted in Surah An-Naml 27:18-19, allowed him to lead with unparalleled insight and compassion. When Solomon heard an ant warning its colony about his approaching army, he smiled and thanked Allah for granting him this unique gift. So he smiled, amused at her speech, and said, "My Lord, enable me to be grateful for your favor, which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to do righteousness of which you approve." The ring also represented divine justice, a principle central to Solomon's rule. With its powers, he ensured fairness in governance, resolved disputes, and maintained harmony in his kingdom. The Quran consistently portrays Solomon as a servant of Allah, who recognized that his abilities were a trust, not a personal entitlement. In Surah Sad 38:35, Solomon prays, he said, "My Lord, forgive me and grant me a kingdom such as will not belong to anyone after me. Indeed, you are the bestower." This prayer reflects his awareness of the responsibility tied to his power and his reliance on Allah's guidance. Legends surrounding the ring also speak of its symbolic meaning. Some accounts suggest that the ring's inscription contained the Tetragrammaton, the divine name of Allah, or other sacred words, signifying Solomon's role as a custodian of divine wisdom. Others interpret the ring as a metaphor for the balance between spiritual and worldly authority, teaching that true leadership requires both humility and strength. In Islamic thought, the ring serves as a reminder that all power ultimately belongs to Allah. Solomon's abilities, though extraordinary, were granted to him by divine will. This distinction is crucial as it shifts the focus from the object itself to the Creator who bestowed its powers. It underscores the principle that even the greatest leaders are servants of Allah, accountable for how they use their gifts. The story of Solomon's ring also contains lessons about the dangers of over-reliance on material symbols of power. In some traditions, it is said that Solomon was tested when his ring was temporarily lost. During this time, he faced challenges that reminded him of his dependence on Allah, rather than the ring itself, for his strength and authority. This test serves as a powerful metaphor for humility and the transient nature of worldly power. The ring of King Solomon has long been described as a vessel of extraordinary powers, granting him dominion over both the natural and supernatural worlds. This artifact is said to have enabled Solomon to rule with unmatched authority, wisdom, and fairness, becoming a symbol of divine favor and justice. The powers attributed to the ring are deeply connected to his role as a prophet and a ruler, reflecting the unique responsibilities entrusted to him by Allah. One of the most remarkable abilities associated with Solomon's ring was his control over the jinn. These spiritual beings, created from smokeless fire, were bound to serve him, performing tasks that were beyond human capability. The Quran describes how the jinn, under Solomon's command, constructed monumental structures, created intricate works of craftsmanship, and carried out various duties. This ability exemplified Solomon's unparalleled authority, ensuring that even the unseen realms were subject to divine will through his leadership. The ring also allowed Solomon to command the wind, which he used as a means of swift transportation across vast distances. This extraordinary power not only facilitated his governance over a sprawling kingdom, but also demonstrated his role as a prophet chosen to manifest Allah's signs. His ability to harness the wind symbolized the balance between human effort and divine assistance, as he always acknowledged that these powers were a gift from Allah. Another unique attribute of the ring was its capacity to grant Solomon the ability to understand and communicate with animals. The Quran recounts the moment when Solomon overheard an ant warning its colony about his approaching army. This profound interaction highlights his exceptional connection to creation and his respect for even the smallest of Allah's creatures. The ability to comprehend and engage with animals was not simply a display of power, but a reminder of the interconnectedness of all living beings and the responsibility of humanity to care for them. The ring's powers extended beyond the material and physical realms, encompassing spiritual wisdom and insight. It is said that Solomon used the ring to discern truth, resolve disputes, and uphold justice. His judgments were renowned for their fairness and wisdom, earning him the respect of his subjects and neighboring kingdoms. These qualities made Solomon a symbol of divine justice, and the ring became a representation of his commitment to ruling in accordance with Allah's laws. While the physical and mystical powers of the ring are awe-inspiring, they also carry a deeper spiritual meaning. The ring served as a constant reminder to Solomon that all power and authority ultimately belong to Allah. Despite his extraordinary abilities, Solomon remained humble, using his gifts to serve humanity and fulfill his prophetic mission. His acknowledgement of the ring's divine origin underscored the principle that true power is a trust, not a personal entitlement. The story of Solomon's ring also includes lessons about the limits of material power. Some accounts mention that Solomon temporarily lost the ring and with it his authority. During this time he faced trials that tested his reliance on Allah rather than the physical symbol of his power. This episode illustrates that while the ring held immense abilities, it was ultimately a tool given by Allah, and its loss served as a reminder of the transient nature of worldly possessions. During this period of testing, Solomon's unwavering faith and submission to Allah were evident. Despite losing his authority, he continued to rely on Allah's mercy and guidance. This is reflected in his prayer, "My Lord, do not leave me alone, even for the blink of an eye, for I have no strength without your aid." His patience and steadfastness during this trial serve as a powerful example for believers, showing that faith remains unshaken even in the face of one of the most intriguing aspects of the story of King Solomon's ring is the account of its temporary loss and subsequent recovery. This episode is not merely a tale of misfortune and restoration, but a profound lesson in humility, reliance on Allah, and the transient nature of worldly power. It serves as a reminder that true strength lies in faith and obedience to the Creator, rather than in material symbols of authority. According to various traditions, the loss of the ring occurred as a divine test for Solomon. Some narrations suggest that the ring was temporarily taken from him and replaced by an impostor who attempted to usurp his throne. During this period, Solomon experienced what it meant to live without the powers and privileges granted by the ring. He was stripped of his authority and lived among ordinary people, facing the struggles and challenges that they endured. This phase of his life reinforced his dependence on Allah and deepened his humility. The loss of the ring symbolized the vulnerability of material power. Although Solomon had been given immense abilities, the incident demonstrated that these gifts were ultimately under Allah's control. The event highlights an important truth. No matter how powerful or privileged a person may be, they remain dependent on the will of Allah. Solomon's temporary fall from power was a humbling reminder that his dominion over the natural and supernatural worlds was not due to his own greatness, but was a trust bestowed by the Almighty. During this period of testing, Solomon's unwavering faith and submission to Allah were evident. Despite losing his authority, he continued to rely on Allah's mercy and guidance. This is reflected in his prayer, "My Lord, do not leave me alone, even for the blink of an eye, for I have no strength without your aid." His patience and steadfastness during this trial serve as a powerful example for believers, showing that faith remains unshaken even in the face of adversity. The recovery of the ring marked a turning point in Solomon's story. Some accounts describe how the ring was miraculously returned to him, signifying the end of his trial and the restoration of his divine authority. This event reinforced the understanding that all power originates from Allah and can be taken away or returned according to his wisdom. Solomon's gratitude upon regaining the ring highlights his recognition of this truth. He used the experience to rule with even greater justice and compassion, aware that his authority was not his own, but a responsibility entrusted to him by Allah. The loss and recovery of the ring also serve as an allegory for the impermanence of worldly possessions and the importance of spiritual strength. It teaches that reliance on material symbols of power, wealth, or status is fleeting, while reliance on Allah is eternal. For Solomon, the incident reaffirmed his role as a servant of Allah, reminding him that his mission was not about personal glory, but about fulfilling the divine will. This story holds timeless lessons for all of humanity. It reminds us that the tests and trials we face in life are opportunities for growth and self-reflection. It teaches us to remain humble in times of success and to persevere in times of difficulty, knowing that Allah's wisdom is greater than our understanding. Just as Solomon emerged from his trial with a renewed sense of purpose, we too can find strength and clarity through patience and reliance on Allah. The story of King Solomon's ring extends beyond religious texts and historical accounts into the realm of mysticism, where it is revered as a symbol of divine wisdom, authority, and spiritual mastery. Across cultures and traditions, the ring has been described as more than a tool of power. It is a representation of the connection between humanity and the divine. The mystical aspects of the ring reveal profound insights into the spiritual dimensions of leadership, knowledge, and responsibility. In Islamic tradition, the ring is closely tied to the concept of divine trust. It is believed to have been inscribed with the name of Allah or sacred words, signifying the bearer's unique relationship with the Creator. This inscription was not merely decorative, but a source of the ring's power, allowing Solomon to command the jinn, understand the language of animals, and control natural elements. Mystics interpret this as a sign that true authority and knowledge come only through submission to Allah and the recognition of His ultimate sovereignty. Sufi teachings often use the story of Solomon's ring as a metaphor for the spiritual journey. The ring represents divine wisdom, which can only be accessed by those who have purified their hearts and aligned their will with Allah's commands. Just as Solomon's authority depended on his humility and obedience, the mystic's path requires surrendering ego and embracing the responsibilities of knowledge. This spiritual understanding transforms the ring from a symbol of power into a lesson about the inner struggle to attain closeness to Allah. In Jewish mysticism, the ring is similarly regarded as a vessel of divine knowledge. It is often associated with the ability to understand the hidden meanings of creation and the secrets of the universe. The ring's powers are seen as reflective of Solomon's unparalleled wisdom, enabling him to see beyond the material world and comprehend the spiritual truths that govern existence. This perspective aligns with the broader mystical idea that knowledge is both a gift and a test, requiring the bearer to use it wisely for the benefit of others. Western esoteric traditions have also drawn inspiration from the story of Solomon's ring, incorporating it into various systems of occult thought. In these interpretations, the ring is often depicted as a key to unlocking hidden forces and achieving mastery over nature. While these depictions deviate from the religious and spiritual contexts of Islamic and Jewish traditions, they underscore the enduring fascination with the ring as a symbol of ultimate power and wisdom. One of the most compelling aspects of the ring's mysticism is its association with balance and justice. Mystics often interpret the ring as a reminder that power must be wielded responsibly and with compassion. Solomon's ability to command the jinn and the natural world was not a demonstration of dominance, but a testament to his alignment with divine principles. The story of King Solomon's ring is not just a tale of extraordinary power. It carries profound lessons that resonate across time and cultures. This narrative offers guidance on humility, justice, and the proper use of authority, reminding humanity of the responsibilities that come with divine gifts. The ring, while extraordinary in its capabilities, symbolizes far more than material power. It represents the principles of accountability, gratitude, and the balance between worldly and spiritual responsibilities. One of the key lessons from the story of the ring is the importance of humility. Despite being endowed with unparalleled abilities, Solomon always acknowledged that his powers were a trust from Allah. He understood that his authority over humans, animals, and jinn was not due to personal merit, but was a gift to fulfill divine purposes. Solomon's humility is reflected in his prayer for wisdom and justice, a prayer that demonstrates his reliance on Allah's guidance rather than his own abilities. This teaches that no matter how gifted or accomplished one may be, true greatness lies in recognizing one's dependence on the Creator, The ring also highlights the significance of justice in leadership. Solomon used the powers of the ring to uphold fairness and ensure the well-being of his people. His judgments were renowned for their equity, as he ruled with the understanding that all power is a trust from Allah. One of the most famous examples of Solomon's justice is the story of two women disputing the motherhood of a child. His ingenious resolution of the conflict revealed not only his wisdom, but also his commitment to uncovering the truth. The ring symbolizes the role of justice as the cornerstone of ethical leadership, emphasizing that authority must always serve the greater good. Another profound lesson is the fleeting nature of material power. When Solomon temporarily lost the ring, it served as a reminder that worldly authority and possessions are transient. This episode illustrates that reliance on material symbols of power can lead to arrogance and misplaced trust. The true source of strength is one's relationship with Allah, and the loss of the ring teaches the importance of spiritual resilience and faith in times of adversity. The story of the ring also underscores the value of gratitude. Solomon frequently expressed his thankfulness to Allah for the blessings he received, using his gifts to serve others and fulfill his divine mission. Gratitude, as exemplified by Solomon, is not just an acknowledgement of blessings, but an active effort to use those blessings responsibly. This lesson is particularly relevant in today's world, where the misuse of power and resources often leads to injustice and inequality. Solomon's example encourages individuals to view their abilities and possessions as tools for positive change. The ring's powers to communicate with animals and command the jinn also reflect the interconnectedness of creation. Solomon's interactions with these beings teach the importance of respect and stewardship for all forms of life. His ability to understand the language of animals is a reminder that every creature has a purpose and a place within Allah's creation. This lesson encourages humanity to approach the natural world with care and responsibility, fostering harmony between humans and the environment. The story also provides insight into the tests that come with power. Solomon's ability to control the elements, jinn and creatures, was not merely a privilege, but a profound responsibility. The ring was both a gift and a trial, testing his ability to remain just, humble, and faithful. This teaches that the greater the power one holds, the greater the accountability before Allah. Leaders and individuals alike are reminded to wield their influence with integrity and a focus on serving others. The story of King Solomon's ring, while rich in religious and mystical significance, has also intrigued historians and archaeologists. Efforts to understand the historical basis of Solomon's reign and the possibility of the ring's existence have been ongoing for centuries. This intersection of faith, legend, and historical inquiry adds another layer of depth to the narrative, inviting exploration into the era of Solomon and the cultural context in which these stories arose. King Solomon, known as a prophet and king in Islamic tradition, is also a central figure in Jewish and Christian texts. Historically, he is believed to have ruled over the United Kingdom of Israel during the 10th century BCE. His reign is often associated with wisdom, prosperity, and monumental achievements, including the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem. The temple, described in religious texts, was said to be an architectural marvel built with the assistance of humans and jinn, as per Islamic tradition. The construction of such a structure aligns with the legendary powers attributed to Solomon's ring, particularly his command over supernatural beings. Archaeological investigations in Jerusalem and surrounding regions have aimed to uncover evidence of Solomon's kingdom and its grandeur. While definitive proof of the ring's physical existence has not been found, These excavations have revealed artifacts and structures that suggest the presence of a sophisticated and influential civilization during Solomon's time. Findings such as ancient inscriptions, remnants of fortifications, and trade artifacts hint at a well-connected and prosperous kingdom. These discoveries, though not directly linked to Solomon's ring, provide context for understanding the stories and legends associated with his reign. The ring itself, as described in various traditions, is often seen as a symbolic artifact rather than a tangible object. In Islamic and mystical traditions, the ring represents divine authority, wisdom, and the responsibilities of leadership. Historians suggest that the legend of the ring may have been a metaphorical way to convey Solomon's exceptional qualities and the divine favor he enjoyed. This interpretation aligns with the broader cultural practice of using symbols to illustrate the attributes of great leaders and prophets. Legends surrounding Solomon's ring also appear in the folklore of different cultures, from the Middle East to Europe. These stories often depict the ring as a powerful talisman, capable of granting its bearer extraordinary abilities. Such narratives may have been influenced by the cultural exchange and storytelling traditions of ancient civilizations. The spread of these tales across regions reflects the enduring fascination with Solomon's wisdom and the universal appeal of his story. Some historians have explored the possibility that the ring, if it existed, might have been an actual artifact of significant value or craftsmanship. Rings in ancient times often served as symbols of authority and status, used to seal documents or signify rulership. If Solomon possessed a ring of this nature, it could have been imbued with symbolic meaning over time, eventually becoming the centerpiece of legendary accounts. The absence of physical evidence for the ring does not diminish its significance. In religious and spiritual contexts, the story of the ring transcends its material existence, serving as a vehicle for moral and theological teachings. Its lessons about justice, humility, and reliance on Allah resonate across generations, making it a powerful narrative regardless of its historical or archaeological basis. The story of King Solomon's ring has transcended religious texts and historical narratives, finding a place in modern interpretations and cultural representations across the world. This enduring tale continues to captivate audiences, inspiring literature, art, philosophy, and even popular culture. Its significance lies not only in its mystical allure, but also in the universal themes of wisdom, justice, and the responsible use of power. Modern scholars and thinkers often interpret the ring as a metaphor for knowledge and the burden of leadership. The power attributed to Solomon's ring is seen as symbolic of the intellectual and moral authority required to govern justly. This perspective highlights the timeless nature of the story, emphasizing that true leadership is rooted in wisdom, humility, and the service of others. It resonates with contemporary discussions on the ethical responsibilities of those in positions of power. In literature, the ring has been a recurring motif, symbolizing control over forces beyond human understanding. Writers have used it to explore themes of temptation, moral conflict, and the pursuit of knowledge. These interpretations often delve into the dual nature of power, its potential to achieve greatness when used wisely, and its capacity to corrupt when wielded recklessly. By framing the ring as a test of character, these stories underscore the importance of integrity and humility in overcoming the challenges of leadership. The story of Solomon's ring has also found a place in popular culture, appearing in films, television, and video games. These adaptations often emphasize the ring's mystical powers, presenting it as a coveted artifact capable of granting supernatural abilities. While these representations sometimes stray from the spiritual essence of the original story, They reflect the universal fascination with the concept of a singular object imbued with extraordinary power. These portrayals often serve as a mirror of society's ongoing exploration of power dynamics, morality, and human ambition. Beyond entertainment, the story of the Ring has influenced philosophical and ethical discourse. Thinkers and educators use the narrative to discuss the balance between authority and accountability, exploring how power should be used to promote justice and compassion. The Ring's role as a tool for commanding jinn and controlling the elements serves as an allegory for humanity's potential to influence the world responsibly. It reminds individuals and leaders alike that their actions must align with principles of fairness and humility. In spiritual and mystical traditions, the Ring continues to hold profound significance. It is often regarded as a symbol of divine wisdom and the connection between the material and spiritual realms. Mystics interpret the Ring as a reminder that true power comes from submission to the Creator and alignment with His will. This interpretation reinforces the importance of inner purification and self-awareness, guiding individuals on a path of spiritual growth. The cultural impact of Solomon's Ring extends beyond individual narratives, influencing collective ideals about justice, leadership, and the pursuit of higher knowledge. It serves as a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern values, reminding humanity of the enduring relevance of ethical principles in a rapidly changing world. By engaging with the story of the Ring, individuals are encouraged to reflect on their own responsibilities and the impact of their choices on society and the environment. The story of King Solomon's Ring is far more than a tale of mystical power and legendary authority. It is a timeless narrative that weaves together profound lessons on humility, justice, wisdom, and the responsible use of power. The Ring, whether viewed as a divine artifact or a symbolic representation, serves as a reminder of humanity's ultimate accountability to the Creator and the fleeting nature of worldly possessions. Through the lens of this story, we see the extraordinary life of a prophet and king chosen by Allah to wield powers that transcended human understanding. Yet Solomon's greatness did not lie in his command over jinn, animals, or the elements, but in his unwavering humility, gratitude, and dedication to justice. His reliance on Allah, even during trials such as the loss of the Ring, underscores the importance of faith as the foundation of true strength. The story of Solomon's Ring carries lessons that are as relevant today as they were in ancient times. It teaches leaders and individuals alike to approach authority with humility, to use their gifts and resources for the betterment of others, and to seek knowledge not for personal gain, but for the pursuit of truth and service. It reminds us that power, when used without moral grounding, leads to ruin, but when guided by divine principles, it becomes a force for good. As we reflect on the enduring legacy of King Solomon and his ring, we are reminded that the greatest treasures in life are not material but spiritual: wisdom, justice, and the ability to serve others with compassion and fairness. The Ring story transcends cultural and religious boundaries, resonating with anyone who seeks to understand the balance between